Good morning, Venerables. Good morning, friends.
Good morning.
Very nice weather out there. So maybe we can, if you have time later on, go take a walk around, maybe to the Guanyin Pavilion. So today will be my last talk for the year. Unless somebody, some of our teachers decided to, not give a talk in November. I'm the backup, so we'll see. Continue with my talk for this year. If the master allows, maybe continue to the next year. So, see, the topic is Introduction to the Heart Sutra. It's not, unfamiliar to everyone here about the Heart Sutra, right? So this is the Heart Sutra in the Chinese characters, mixed up with like 260 words in the Chinese language. And it's very easy to chant. And in our chanting book, you can find that Chinese version with the English pronunciation on it. So it's not that difficult. Then I started early in the year to explain some of the concepts about the Heart Sutra. Very important one is the Heart Sutra comes from a series of the Buddha's teaching. It's called the Prajna Paramita Sutra. It's like about 40 scrolls of teaching. Then the Heart Sutra is a condensed one. They put it in a format that is very precise, but contains the core or the essence of the entire Prajnaparamita Sutra. So we went through all these. What is prajna? What is the meaning of emptiness? And now we come to prajna, right? Wisdom, paramita. Paramita, it's called the transcend perfections. What do we need to perfect so that we can get from the suffering, the undesirable, the dissatisfactory of life across the ocean to the other shore of liberation? How do we free ourselves from all these fetters, all these defilements, all these bondages, and like get off all these ropes, tangles to the other shore of liberation? So these are the 6 transcendent perfection that we need to practice, so that it's just like we're riding, we're rolling the boat over the ocean of samsara, cycle of rebirth, to the other shore of liberation. In the Mahayana tradition, it's summed up to 6 and later on extended to 10. So what are the 6 paramitas? These are the 6. Start with generosity, discipline, patience, effort, meditation or concentration, and finally, prajna, wisdom. So we might want to ask, do I have to follow the sequence? Yes and no. All depends on your training. All depends on your faculty. Practitioners with sharp faculty, they already go through all these generosity, whatever step, and go straightly, directly into prajna. Okay, they can do that. Any one of us consider ourselves with the sharp faculty? Let's think about that. If not, then we can start step by step. There's no rush. This lifetime, whether we live till 120, still a very short period. We have whatever. I mean, to say that sky is the limit, sky is not the limit. In this short period of time, we have long time to go. And I also, when people ask me, I have been practiced for over 10 years. And where am I? I'm not achieving anything. So I would, share my information. PPC. Patiently, because we need that. Persistently, we need that. Continuously. So we need to be patient. Remember, this lifetime, 120 years is just a short period. So, but then we have to be persistently and then continuously. Don't stop even our breath end. So that's what I would like to share. So the 6 paramitas, this is another way, of I just pulled it out from Google, just a chart to show, it can be defined differently, slightly differently. Then we went through the Theravada tradition and the Mahayana tradition. The Theravada tradition, there were 10 paramitas or paramitas. Mahayana tradition start with 6, major 6, then added 4 later on. And there are some duplications or, the same thing, like dana is dana, okay? Generosity is generosity. So all these, you can see the color difference. But some of them, they just describe it differently in a, they are similar technique or meaning, but they just describe it differently. I'm not going to go through that again because we went through that last time. So dana basically can be summed up with 3 kinds: material, listening, what I call, or fearlessness. Somebody get afraid, stay in the dark, be kind, stay with them. Somebody afraid to cross the street, then, help them crossing the street. Those are the services, in another word, that we can perform or provide to help others. Then Dhamma. Dhamma basically, or more in a higher preferences would be giving the Dharma of the Buddha's teaching. Okay, because we know that practicing the Buddha's teaching is going to get us across the samsara to liberation. But somebody just don't want to listen. What do? If we're in Rome, we speak their language. If we come up with some other religion, be compassionate, kind, and respectful. Speak their language. Say something, give something that they can understand and accept. Then we would, kind of bring in the Buddha's teaching gently, skillfully. So that is the Dhamma Dana, or generosity in the teaching. So I went through that. Just want to stress one thing, that how do we perform Dana? How do we perform generosity? So it has to be benefit to the others. It has to be prepared that even though it's hard for us to accept, but then we have to prepare to sacrifice not necessary life, not necessary. That would be best. But how about our ideas? This is my view. This is my idea. I'm always right. How about bend a little bit? Innocent. Okay. Then we have to perform the generosity with loving kindness and compassion. Not being proud and arrogant. That's not the right way. And then with respect. And that respect specifically to the monastic, to the person who give us dana, respect. And then with equanimous mind or equanimity, that, I don't say that, oh, you're my friend, I'm giving you all these, and you're not my friend, stay away from me. It has to be in a very equanimous mind. And then we have to do it with wisdom. Okay, I already went through that. Just a little review. Then the next one would be sila paramita. Okay, the discipline, the ethic. This can be categorized or summarized into 3 parts. Okay, now based on the Bodhisattva's precepts, we can, sum up with 3 parts. Number 1 is actually the precepts, like 5 precepts for the lay practitioners, and then the bhikkhu, bhikkhuni, all these specific precepts for ordained monastics. So the precept, maybe we think about it as a restriction, but it is not a restriction. As it is a protection. Protect the others being harmed, protect ourselves being harmed. If you're not familiar with this, I think we have, like in the beginner's retreat, we talk about the precepts. So go to Maba's website. There are talks from various teachers to talk about that. So the second one is not only not to kill, but also to preserve. Okay? say I don't, just purposely go out and kill somebody, but we also protect. Okay, so from precept, go a little bit higher level, called the 10 virtues. Not only we don't lie, but we also make sure we speak the truth. Okay? And somebody has said that I didn't say it. I just keep silent. So at the situation, keeping silent may harm somebody. Lee will know better about that in law. So not only, prevent or keep the precept or observe the precept, we go our way to help others, perform virtuous deeds. Okay. And number 3, it involved to go one more or more extensive helping, like we go and take care voluntarily the sick, the old, the those who need help, the young, the animals. All these are another way to observe the sila, to observe the ethical discipline. Okay, so in essence, just one more step, more extensive from generosity, we reach out. That's what it said. Okay. So the sila, paramita, first it emphasized on restraint, refrain, then we go out and reach out. And these kind of ethic practice or discipline, whether you are a Theravadan practitioner or Mahayana practitioner, it doesn't matter. Same thing. We do the same thing. Okay? So, cultivation of the sila paramita to complete, to perfect, a person, a practitioner has to reach the second bhumi of a bodhisattva. I'll talk about the bhumi in just a few seconds. Maybe I should go back a little bit. When we talk about the dana, so the dana practice, when we perfect it, we are almost reaching the first bhumi of a bodhisattva. And let me go to the bhumis. If I do have that, probably not. Okay. So let me explain a little bit. The ground or the bhumi means ground, of a bodhisattva. That means, we're going to a kindergarten. And then we're going into an elementary school. And then the next step would be the middle school. And the next step would be high school and college, master degree, PhD, postdoc, step by step, right? So bhumis are actually the step. When a person start to commit to become a bodhisattva, all we know the meaning of bodhisattva. Do we know the meaning of it? Literally, bodhisattva means awakened sentient being. those who already awakened. If we commit to become a Bodhisattva, we walk the Bodhisattva path. That means, in addition to our own liberation, we commit or we vow to save others at the same time. Okay, so there are steps. Those steps are called the bhumis. So a beginning Bodhisattva, we are all a Bodhisattva at the beginning stage. That means we have the compassionate mind, we have loving kindness, we would extend our helping hand when it's needed. So, beginning Bodhisattvas hasn't reached the first bhumi yet. Before we reach the first bhumi, we have some preparation to do. First of all, we have to have faith. If I don't have faith in the Buddha's teaching, in our teacher, in those who preserve the teaching, the monastic, if we don't have faith in the person who sits next to us, that they are practicing very well, if we don't have faith in ourselves. So faith is not blind belief. It's confidence. Okay? We have to have confidence in ourselves. Yes, I can do it. I can do it. I have no skeptical doubt on ourselves, on the teaching. Okay? 10 step in faith. It's called the 10 faith. That is the first set in the preparation stage. Then the next one would be the 10 abode. What are the 10 abodes? If you have question about that, I recommend Dan's book. He talked about this in very much detail. So 10 faith, 10 abode, 10 practice, and then 10 dedication. Then we come to the 10 bhumi. So you see how many steps that we have to prepare ourselves before we can reach the first bhumi of a bodhisattva. Sounds very confusing, but that's okay. I'm confused too. So, suggestion, go to Dan Ye's book. He describe about these steps. Okay. So here I'm just kind of very briefly introducing what's happening. So this is the bhumis. So where are we? Where are we? Good news. We are actually in the very first step of preparation. That means we are still developing cultivating faith. And there is a way to check ourselves. Do we actually have faith? Faith means confidence, firm, sturdy, unmovable. We can check ourselves. And I like to do this. At night, before I go to bed, I have to brush my teeth, right? And I look into the mirror and I brush my teeth. I say, what did I do today? Do I actually have faith? Did I for the entire day, did I lie? Including white lie. Okay, did I harm somebody? Did I smash the mosquito purposely? Purposely, it's very important. That's our intention. If it's not purposely, it's just. So would that be okay? Yes and no. Yes, it's like we didn't do it intentionally. The intention is not to kill, right? So the intention is not to kill. Not okay, because it's our habitual pattern. How do I get rid of that habitual pattern and get an insect relocator? Hey, guy, let me move you out. Training. Okay. So every single little thing, of course, we're saying that you're getting into so tedious and, it is hard to follow. But the purpose is not the action. The purpose is to form a habit. So yes, we do that because we are not intention to kill. But why not form a habit? Certain kind of encouragement. Okay. Then the next one, enough for the sila. So let's go into kanti paramita, tolerance. Why do I have to tolerate? Why do I have to tolerate? I don't have to. I'm myself. I can master anything. Why do I have to tolerate? We don't have to, unless we decided to become a bodhisattva. We decided not to just care about ourselves. We decided to get rid of the individualism and become compassionate and become loving kindness and with altruistic joy and equanimous. Unless we want to do that, nobody forces us to do it. It's totally volunteer, totally willingness. That is why vow is important on the path, on the Bodhisattva's path. So, what do we need to tolerate? And I will share with you about 1 month ago, I completely fall off the path of a bodhisattva. Somebody mentioned something that not a fact. Somebody mentioned something about my talk. I got so angry, so furious. This words of abuse. You're questioning my integrity. You're questioning my knowledge. You're putting words in my mouth and I don't mean that. Fire burns. And that happened here. Okay. I got angry for 2 days. And I sit down and I lash it out to the group. I sit down. What am I doing? I sit down and I reflect. Wow, this caddy choice words are so important that nobody can oppose. kind of ego, that kind of pride, that kind of ignorance. When the minute I start the aversion, fire burns within. I cannot listen to any Dhamma. I cannot listen to any saying. It burns and burned and burned. And all my virtuous root wipe out on that 2 days. And I was like, better sit down and look into the mirror, look into this burning person. Okay. So I learned from experience. So Kanti Paramita, bear, forbearance, tolerate. I remember I attended a meditation retreat for 10 days. And I went there, a few times. We have, each day we average meditate for about 8 hours. So each day we have 3 sessions, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, one in the evening, called the Aditana time, meaning sitting with determination. You sit there on the cushion, on the chair, whatever. Sit there, hands fold, legs crossed. That's it for 1 hour without moving. And that is called aditana, forbearance, determination. And this is kind of resemble that, when the Buddha become enlightened, he make the vow, make the decision, I'm not going to rise from my seat unless I got enlightened. It's a resembling of that. Whoa, for that 1 hour, for that 3 times, we went through like, I went through, others may not, okay? I went through like, why am I here? Am I stupid to come here and sit there and not moving? And my leg hurts, my back hurts, my arm hurts. Oh, I'm going through the torture. It's just like, the 10 Chinese kind of torture. You won't believe it. And my leg was like somebody pour concrete onto my leg. Not only that, but use a big hammer and pound on it. It's that kind of sensation that I went through 3 times a day. 3 times a day. And then I vowed, I'm not going to come again. Sorry. Then I went through 10 more. Not that each time, every time I went through that, but most of the time I would say I went through that. But it's so beneficial. Forbearance. Take it, bear it. So that's Kanti Paramita. So there are certain criteria that how do we bear with that? This is only at the very preparation level that we talk about forbearance, talk about Kanti Paramita. When we reach the first bhumi of a Bodhisattva, we benefit from non-regression as a Bodhisattva. That means I walk on this path. It's just like we're entering on a one-way street. We're entering on the one-way street that there's no other outlet but keep on going. So when we reach the first bhumi, we don't have to worry about, Should I go and believe in other religions so that I can go up there? There is no regression. We won't have that kind of mindset anymore. Okay? So that's the benefit when we reach the first bhumi. Then the next time, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, they have different achievements. Important thing is when we reach the eighth bhumi, that is the ground, that is the stage that is unmovable. That is a very solid ground that we will stand. This is the path that I'm going to go through. Because, without the defilements, without all these things, but we also forbear one more thing. The one thing is called the forbearance of non-existing anymore. And we reach that, when we achieve that, attain that, then we start to do what? That is the time we start to learn. So we're saying that what if all the previous steps, are we not learning? We are learning, but a different thing. This on the eighth bhumi is the time a bodhisattva start to learn skillful means. It's the time, it's the state that a bodhisattva learn how to help others in a very skillful way. Because they have the wisdom, they have the loving kindness, they are all prepared to sacrifice themselves. Now, this kind of sacrifice is not on the first, when we look at the generosity, look at the athlete. This is go all the way. Living to them, alive to them, existence to them means that they don't care. All they have in mind is to save others, help others, even if giving up their enlightenment. That is when a bodhisattva reached the eighth bhumi. That's how important it is, how solid the belief is, how permanent, unmovable the mindset is. And they learn skillful means. Okay. I just share with you the aversion. The aversion. It's easier to detect compared to craving. It's easier because we can hear the heart pounds faster, pulse goes faster, temperature is heating up. And then the sankhara, the mental formation, the perception, the conception, the sensation, everything is out the door. It's only burning. Only burning. No, without training, the Dharma cannot do anything at that moment. So we have to keep training and training and training until it becomes our habit and say, okay, I'm facing this situation. Where's my Dhamma? Where's my practice? They can immediately take place. Then the volition will start like my decision, my interpretation. This is unwholesome. Let me stop it. Okay? And that goes to the next one. It's called the what is it? Effort, energy. This is when we need to give rise to this kind of energy or effort. It's going to take a while if I want to go into that, but briefly, I'll just say four things, fall into this right effort of Vidya Paramita. Try to perfect it. When an unwholesome thought arises in the mind, detect it, be aware of it, be mindful of it, stop it. When an unwholesome thought arises at that time, if we can stop it, stop it. When an unwholesome action, because relation, right? We have the mental formation. I want to slash back. That kind of thought arises. Then be aware of it, be mindful of it. Try to stop it, not to proceed. If we are already in the process of the unwholesome action, again, stop it. Okay? If it's already done, make sure we don't do it again. Discontinue it. So that is unwholesome mental action, verbal action, physical action. Then when a wholesome action arises in the thought, okay, we make sure it continues and put it into action. Okay, so there are four steps here. So I'll save this for the next time because my time is up. If you're interested in this year's talk with the slide, send me an email. Okay, I will send you all the slides of all my talk from the beginning of this year, and then probably we'll go into the early part of next year. So about the Heart Sutra, I haven't even gone into Heart Sutra yet, guys. So it's very interesting. I really like it. So just to share with you. And you can see, my slide continues until, where are we? Until here. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be peaceful. And may all beings be liberated. Thank you very much.